Let's do the math, man. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. I'm sure. Oh God,
There
no,
it is again.
no.
Look at your cat.
Here it is again.
Look at your cat. Do you see me when
All right,
you
no,
hold
no.
him? Ah!
Okay. I'm sure people much smarter than all of us combined have figured this out. But today we'll try to explain to you guys anong pwedeng gawin or ano kailangan gawin ng mga teams para makapasok sila, or in this case, para makasecure sila ng upper bracket slot. But first, a quick recap on the rules and who are secured first, okay? Para hindi masakit yung ulo nyo, mamaya remind namin sa inyo sino yung pasok na. But here's how our scoring works, right? In Season 9. Here's the rules. First criteria is total points. Just look at the points at the end of Season 9, Week 8. Yan na yun. If there are ties, check out the head-to-head matchup. But if it's still a tie by then, you go to the plus and minus of their games, yung record score, right? And then from there, kung tie pa rin, mag-BO1 sila. It's that simple. I don't know if we're gonna see a BO1 this weekend, but we'll get there when we get there. We'll cross the bridge when we get there. Also, may bagong rule. In case you didn't hear about it yet, rank 1 and rank 3 have an advantage. Rank 1 will choose where 3 and 4 are slotted, and then rank 3 will choose where 5 and 6 are slotted. So basically, 1 and 3 will choose how the first round matchups look like. Tapos nag-aantay na lang yung 1 and 2 dun sa taas, round 2, upper bracket. So that's the one change, but then that aside, it's similar to Season 8. So don't worry about it, okay? Now, let us go into the confirmed teams. Chillin' like villains, RSG, Echo, TNC, Onic. Alright? Real quick before we move on, gentlemen, ito bang ina-expect ninyo na mag-secure first ng kanilang slots? Right? Renmar, I don't know, our power rankings look very different prior to Season 9. Is this what your top 4 look like?
Man, I'm pretty sure like no one saw this. Like for the table to look like this. I think a lot of people, like, of course, going into the season had a lot of hopes for teams like BLACKLIST to retain their form. I mean, they retained most of their roster. For Onic to still be a top 2 team because they retained their roster. They were dominant in M3. But then at the same time, you can't complain that to see the table like this, because that this season has been something else. Again, the season is special. And if we could go back in time, just like 7-8 weeks ago and just go, yo, look at this table right here, I think all of us would go like, no way, what? For real? Seriously? But now that we're here, it's really cool.
So safe to say you weren't expecting that RSG would be the head of the table.
Yes.
Di mo in-expect yun. But now, we're here, dude. They have a huge chance to be the head of the table, man. We have to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Gotta
We have to acknowledge
RSG.
them.
Yeah.
Right?
Acknowledge me.
How about you, Naisu? I mean, I bet you're happy. Base. I have to give it to you, bro. Masaya ka. RSG's on top.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite teams at the number 1 slot. And, you know, I was trying to look for my old preseason power rankings, but I couldn't pull it up just now. But I'm pretty sure I had RSG up there somewhere. But the rest of it is still kind of like jumbled. I am, like I said, I'm happy to see RSG up there. I had different expectations for, you know, some of the other teams, but I still think that, hey, it's a great season, and the current 4 teams that have secured their slot definitely deserve it. I think one of the biggest surprises for me, though, was, and maybe for pretty much everybody, was TNC. Because, you know, preseason, everybody put TNC at number 8 because we didn't know, like, what to expect, right? You're bringing in these new names. I mean, they have great stories themselves, you know, individually as people. And then you put them on this type of team. They have this type of run in the season, man. And it's just, it's so amazing to see. And so that's another, like, happy surprise for me personally, seeing TNC up there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Renmar, you were saying?
No, I just agreed to him. I just said, yeah.
Okay. A very vocal, just yes. Okay. Ray Ash, 3 out of 10. Bro, you can do better than that, okay? But the way TNC surprised us, parang ganito lang, sabihin ko lang, just share this. TNC, plot twist of Season 9, plot twist of 2022. They're like Santi. They were like, we didn't know Santi was gonna come on board so soon. We didn't hype him, like nobody, like he literally was like a last minute sign. It's like, we need a little more help in the Filipino stream, why not? And then, kid kicked ass, right? Honestly, kid is having the time of his life, living his dream, and like everybody loves him. That's what TNC did. They worked their ass off. They fixed things, and they're now on top. Well, close to the top, right? We're gonna figure out how they get there in just a bit. Before we go into the permutations for dominance, I would like to acknowledge Joy, Himrael, Uncle Joy himself. He did a lot of the math in the back end, and he helped us work this out for the show today. So, Uncle Joy from Moonton, maraming salamat, thank you. Let's go into it. How about it? Let's talk about the dominance of these teams. 3 teams are in the running for upper bracket slots. Only one of them can get knocked out. This is the team that has the easiest go. All right? They can stay on top. Easy. All they got to do is beat Onic. That's it.
For me personally, bro,
beat Onic.
They're gonna. For me personally, I think they're gonna hit that win condition.
They're gonna stay at 1.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion. I think they'll beat Onyx. Onyx is doing better. They're doing great, but not to the point of like RS beating RSG. That's just my own opinion. And unless they come in with something much more polished than what we saw in week 7.
What do you think, Renmar?
Man, for me, it's as much as I want to agree with Naisu, and like because of what we saw from RSG, yeah, it's safe to say that RSG most likely will beat Onyx. This is the season where nothing that we expected ever goes. Lagi tayo masusurpresa, and I feel like hanggang sa dulo, ganun pa rin. So I'm leaning more towards the side, and this is really just because it keeps happening to us. It happened to us the entire season. That, yeah, I think we're just gonna get surprised again. It always happens to us all the time, and I'm so happy that it does.
Quick reminder, Onyx ang tumalo sa Echo for the first time in Season 9. They broke the streak. Sure, it was 3 games, pero sila yung tumalo sa Echo. So who's to say na hindi kayang gawin ng Onyx yon sa RSG? Right? I think this was they were part of the first triangle of power sa Season 9.
Yeah.
Diba? So, again, if that happens, if Onyx does beat RSG, Echo and TNC must lose at least one of their matches. Yun yung win-con ng RSG to stay in the top 2 at least.
Mm-hmm.
If they switch that up, if they do worse, if Echo and TNC do worse, then maybe number 1, right? Then maybe RSG gets an advantage. We'll talk about how likely that is when we go into the next teams, and I think we'll talk about Echo right here. Echo, for them to stay in the top 2, at least to stay in the top 2, kasi medyo lumayo na yata Echo sa number 1. And RSG did crazy things. They went gangbusters. Win remaining matches, at least 1 via sweep. So they have 2 matches left. They have to sweep one of them to confirm staying in top 2.
Okay, that seems like that's a very easier way to understand it, because I know everyone after week 7 just went into math mode. It's like, okay, what do we do? It's like so many computations. Yeah, this is like the easiest, like the most simplest way that I've seen it. So if they don't win any of their remaining matches via sweep, it's gonna be in the hands of TNC now to just overtake them. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They have to win They have to win at least 1 via sweep, and they play Onyx and they play EVOS, right? So
yeah,
the chances, I don't know. For me personally, the chances of a sweep happening for Onyx and Next Play EVOS, I don't see that. I'm gonna say I don't see that happening. So,
yeah.
Well, that's. I'll just throw that out there. So
disclaimer, like we've done all the math already, and again, hundreds, maybe thousands of fans online since week 7 have done the math. Like may mga Excel sheets yung mga tao, promise. Yeah. But we here at Recall, the way we've done it is just basically the simplest way we can understand. So that when you watch later this weekend, you're like, just make sure that my team does this. Make sure my team wins one of them and then sweeps the other. Parang ganon. So you just have to like confirm. And yes, at the end of the day, if Echo doesn't do that first sentence, if they can't sweep the first match or the other match and then win the other one as well, they have to pray that TNC doesn't knock them out. Or else they're down to one life. And that's going to be disappointing. Honestly, I gotta say, that's going to be heartbreaking because Echo dominated the regular season. Echo was our first look at what a super team could be in a esports setting for MLBB. And then, ang sakit lang na mag-fizzle out sila.
Yeah. I think a lot of people expect at least Echo to be in the top 2. Pero testament din siya sa mga ginagawa ng TNC and RSG and how they surprised everyone. So, yeah, I understand that feeling though, that really Echo not gonna be in the top 2, like if it does get to that point.
Yeah. Malulungkot sobra si Ren. I think Ren's watching now. And she's gonna be so sad if Echo gets knocked out of the upper bracket contention.
Renmar?
I got so confused.
No, I think Renmar's on a different bandwagon. Oh, legit, I'm Echo Express, bro. And I want to see them fight on an international scale. You know, I want to see how the Echo Express works against Malaysians, Indonesians, Singaporeans. But
we still don't have a name for RSG, bro.
Yeah, just like how we don't have a name for Edward. But you know.
Still waiting for that chance I can get to drop my suggested nickname for him. But I'm holding on to that card. I'm holding on to that card.
I hope it comes out. I hope. Let's go into TNC. How can TNC catch up? How can they stay in the top 2? This one, like, to be fair, we hyped TNC up so much in the past, 45 minutes the show's been on. Pero, ito sa kanila, medyo mahirap. Because they gotta do 2 things. And then they have to hope for another. They have to sweep both their matches, and then Echo and RSG must each lose 1 match. It's playing with points, eh? So they have to gain so much, and then Echo and RSG have to gain minimum.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't happen, if TNC just wins, like 2-1, barely. Again, Renmar, your post this week on the MPL page calls them the reverse sweep kings. Right? Mahilig silang mag game 3. If that happens, Echo has to lose both. If that happens, Echo has to be medyo off this weekend. So then TNC can stay in the upper bracket.
Man,
it's a lot of conditions.
Yeah, a lot of conditions. It seems like compared to RSG and Echo's conditions, like they need to do more. And a part of it seems like it's 40% in their hands, 60% up to what RSG and Echo do. But then when I'm also looking at the schedule here, like, this is why it's so nice to see that we still don't know who's completely, like, the playoff slots aren't completely locked in yet. Like, especially for those who'll make it in, because up against NXP and Bren has already surprised us this season. NXPE, you know they're not gonna go down without a fight. They will fight hard, and they're up against TNC and Echo this weekend. So you know the boys from Pampanga, they're working their asses off to be ready for this weekend to secure that playoff spot. That playoff spot. So even I can say with confidence that they will be able to sweep NXP or Brand. These are hungry teams.
Very, very. And if you think these top teams are hungry, imaginein mo pa yung mga kumakapit lang, di ba? Let's talk about the permutations for survival. How can we even get into the damn playoffs? These 4 teams, they all have a chance to go. Pero iba-iba. Like, different percentages. If I'm not mistaken, our good friend Robert Neal, Midnight de Guzman, former analyst and coach of Next Play Evos, did a lot of this math, and he presented it in a very visual way. Parang may percentage yan eh. Next Play Evos has 60%. Next Play Evos has 60% to make it in the playoffs. Omega has 40, if I'm not mistaken. Parang ganon. Pero yung kay Bren, sobrang baba na. So, let's talk about what that might mean for us. Let's talk about the translation of that. Let's talk about Bren Sports first. Bren Sports, their permutations for survival are a little something like this. So there's an exclamation point here. Kasi
Sheesh.
contrary to the first 3 teams that we talked about, may backup plan sila eh. The other teams, they can go, if this doesn't work, dito tayo, and then dito tayo. Brenny Sports, this all has to happen for them. All of this has to happen.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a lot.
In this order. It has to happen in this order.
Sheesh, bro.
That's literally
Oh,
a sheesh.
Wow.
That's a sheesh. So here's the. It's like, the number one, manageable. It's like the maybe like the normal boss, but then
It's in their hands. It's in their
Yeah.
hands.
But then they go into TNC. They have to sweep TNC. I don't even know the specific stat for how many times TNC has been swept, but I don't think it's many. Maybe
Once.
Redmar has it. Yeah,
Once.
okay.
Once.
Once.
And who did it?
RSG.
RSG. And so if they meet, I'll say this: if Bren gets the first win condition, their second one, let's say they sweep TNC, then it's going to be another. I don't know when they play it, but it's going to be another Freaky Friday on a Saturday or whatever it is.
Diba? No, I think that's day 1. Omega
Is
and
it?
Bren is day 1.
Yep. First match of week 8. My goodness.
Oh no. All right, so that's that, and then I think Saturday is when TNC Bren happens on Sunday if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like, if ever, we might not find out who secures the slot up until the final day of week 8. And it'll be, man, imagine how storybook that would be. Week 8, day 3, we still don't know who's gonna get that final slot. Bren Esports, against all odds, have a chance to take it away from TNC na, there's history between the orgs. Very minimal now between the players since most of the old TNC Work Osterforce squad have split ways, but SEZYZ is still there. Some of the members of Bren who got to scrim with him back then are still there. So, man, this is the kind of storytelling that you'd think, is this scripted? Scripted ba to? Ba't ang ganda ng storya? Why is this such a good
It's
wash?
it's the
Darn
long
it.
con, bro. It's the long con, diba?
Dude,
Parang the first one is like besties. I have to go through my best friend,
Yeah.
and then next is I have to wait on this other B plot between rivals, diba? Which one? Omega and Blacklist. Which one? And then you end the weekend with like, now I have to go through my old scrim partner, my childhood buddy, diba? Oh, dude, I remember.
It's
I remember
so good.
being part of Work Osterforce, man. And whenever we would have to fight Bren, it would be a nightmare for me. It would be a nightmare for me and Lift and everyone else. Like, ano naman yung Bren, di kami makaisa. And if I'm not mistaken, every time we would lose. Pati playoffs, masaya kami maka one game nun. So now look at this. TNC's on top. What now, Bren? What now?
Dude, what's crazy is they just had a post from the MPL Philippines page, and it's like the stat that their TNC is like the reverse sweep masters. So like,
Yeah.
if you take a win from them, like they, what is it, 150% of their matches after losing a game. So it's like, sheesh. Even if you get game 1, it's like, dang, they're literally reverse sweep masters. So it's funny because it's literally like its own form. Like season 9 has been its own form of like a running anime with a very rich storyline and development for even the players and characters.
Yeah.
Very anime.
Yeah,
Very
you guys
anime.
want a little fun fact to go with that post from
Please.
MPL? So I think whoever decided to come up with the graphic wanted to focus on TNC. TNC deserves it, but actually it's tied. There are 2 reverse sweep kings in the league. First one's TNC. The second one's actually Onyx PH. They've reverse swept TNC, Echo, and Omega. So yeah.
So Onyx, you gotta watch out for Onyx. This weekend, they might break hearts. That's Bren Esports. Yung story ng Bren Esports, guys. Let's jump into the next team. And this team has a lot of fans, no doubt. This is the permutation for next play Evos. I think they're safe. They're relatively safe. Kasi kailangan nilang gawin, just score 2 points from their 2 matches. So even if they lose 2-1, or let's say they sweep one or they win the other, then they get swept by the other, pasok sila.
Yeah.
All right? That's it. But in case they don't do that, in case they get swept twice, they have to hope that Blacklist and Omega don't get their ideal outcomes. Kasi kung hindi, sila ang laglag.
And if you think about it, those 2 points are coming from who is it? It's Echo and TNC.
Yeah.
So it's still a difficult task, as easy as like it sounds in here in writing. But at the same time, considering who they're up against, those are still going to be a very fought for 2 points.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was in the thinking that they only just needed 1 point, but did it become 2 points? Like, I'm just thinking out loud. Y'all don't have to answer this. Like,
I think
it became 2 points because of the results from week 7.
It became 2 points for them to be safe. Para wala nang chance regardless of what happens. Because the calculation is this, like on base level, the teams that they're fighting are not the teams that can equal them, are not the teams that can go head to head with them in point totals. So nothing changes for them. That's why it's 2 points. But if it were the teams that they were fighting, if let's say their last matches were like versus Omega or versus Blacklist, it can be 1 point lang. Kaya siya get at least 2 points. Yeah.
I see. Okay, okay.
Because the other 2 teams, Blacklist and Omega, pwede silang umariba eh. Pwede silang umarangkada and go like equal and then beat next play in the head-to-head, and then that's it. So that's why it's game 2. So yeah. It's not so bad. Next play fans, it's not so bad.
Next play Evos too.
Yeah. But there is one thing I want to talk about next play Evos. They recently posted a tweet. I think it should show up on social media as well, on Facebook and stuff. Sino kaya ang mag-uwi ng corona ng top 8 this MPL Philippines Season 9? And then there's like a crown of like 1, 2, 3. Season 6, next play. Season 7, next play. Season 8, TNC. Is this not like a self-burn? Kasi sila yung top 8 twice in a row eh. Pero
yeah, I think it's very self-aware.
Oh, it's self-aware.
Very
parang
self-aware and
kaya.
accepting it. Like, let's make fun of ourselves. Let's have some fun with it.
Pero, okay, to answer their question next play, sagutin ko lang yung tanong nyo, hindi na kayo pwede maging top 8. Hindi pwede. There's no way they're dropping as low as 8. So, yay.
Yeah, I think the lowest they can drop is actually 7, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, and that's if Blacklist or Omega, propel them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ayun. So that's next play Evos. It's relatively easy for them to make it. Relatively, hindi naman sobrang dali. Let's talk about the next team. There's 4 teams here, and I think we're gonna go into agent territory. This is Blacklist. They are currently 6th place. So medyo okay sila if the status quo stays. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat. They only have 1 match left. That being said, ang mangyayari is they have to hope that Bren sweeps Omega para mabaon yung Omega. And then on the Saturday, Blacklist has to beat Omega. Kaya pwedeng 2-1. Doesn't matter. Pwedeng 2-1. But if Omega beats Bren 2-1, or God forbid, Omega sweeps Bren, hindi ata pwede yun. I think the math doesn't allow for that.
Yeah.
I think the only resolution is Blacklist then has to sweep Omega. So it all comes down to their one last match. Yun lang. Tapos meron pa silang dadasalan. And that's the Friday. So,
whoa.
That's so much tension for a team if you think about it. Like their only game is on Saturday and like so much relies on Friday. So
yeah,
it's
if I'm not mistaken, Blacklist, I think the way they're feeling now is 50-50. Half of it is in our hands, half of it elsewhere.
Interesting. Man, so it's like for the agents, they'll be watching that Bren and Omega game and be like, "Oh my god, please sweep Omega," or just hope that Omega doesn't get a 2-0 victory over Bren. Man,
This whole weekend's gonna be. The whole weekend's gonna be a banger, dude.
Hold your breath
Crazy.
every match.
Yeah. Ganda. Ang ganda ng story para sa week 8. Bang klase to.
Yeah. So that's Blacklist. I think we've talked about everything that needs to be talked about, at least in terms of what's happening with them. Pero kung points lang ang permutation ang usapan, ito yon. And then last but not least, let's go into the most anime of endings for a regular season. Of course, it's gonna come down to Omega. Barangay, cap it, because your team needs to sweep Bren Sports on Friday and then get at least 1 point from Blacklist on Saturday. Or switch it around. Actually, ang ganda rin na sa Omega eh. They just need to score 1 from Bren, so 2-1 on the Friday, but sweep Blacklist.
Whoa.
One or the other. Fellas, tanong ko lang sa inyo. Anong mas likely? What do you think are they more likely to do here? Ano yung mas pwede? Ano mas kaya? Sweep Blacklist or sweep Bren?
Can I pass? This is such a difficult question to answer, dude. This isn't guess
ano mas
coin.
kaya nila?
I hold. I will hold.
Saying
I'm
guess
not buying
coin.
or selling. I hold. I can't answer this.
Okay. To be fair, sige, I'll answer it first. Ako muna. I think they can do either. Omega is very capable of doing either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Omega has the best chance. I think maybe even slightly better than next play because it's completely in their hands. It's completely in their hands. They just need to play out of their minds to lock a playoff spot.
Dang. You know, I would say that I feel like they're more likely to sweep. So this is such a hard question, but I feel like
You don't have to answer it. I mean, it's just it's rhetoric. Pero sige.
All right.
I think they're more likely to sweep Bren because it also depends. I don't know what roster is going to play for Bren, right? Because there's been times where we saw what do they call it? Like roster A. What's the term that they use? Like for their Team A.
Team A. Yeah.
So they played Team A. They won games with Team A, and then they brought in Team B, right, for the next day, I think it was, or something. So we don't still know what team Omega is going to face. I think if they play against the Team A from Bren, I mean, they both have their advantages, but I think if they play against Team A, they're going to have a tough time to sweep them. So it'll, again, depend on what Bren brings out. For Blacklist, I feel like the win for them, regardless of what people say, the win for them against RSG, I think it's going to propel them into week 8. That's how I see it. You don't have to answer. The rest of you guys don't. I just wanted to voice my opinion about it.
What you feel like, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Is it Friday yet? That's all I'm saying. Is it Friday
That's
yet?
the Friday, bro. That's the Friday.
Can I be in the studio now? Can we cast this now? Can we see Brent versus Omega now?
Game na, let's go, diba?
Let's go. Yo, MPL, if you're telling me that you move the game to today in 3 hours of the team surgery, I'm ready. I will run to the studio. I am down.
So, those are the permutations for our playoffs. Real quick before we wrap up lang, no? That Omega Bren matchup, that first one reminds me a lot of the Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels moment. I love you into Sweet Chin Music. That's just you're my best friend, but I gotta go through you first. So I posted in the comments, right?
Sure.
Shoutouts to Coach V pala, just si Coach V nanonood. See, I freaking told you guys earlier in the show, Coach V parating nandyan. Coach V, what's up?
Yeah. Yo, can I just say it's good to see Coach V, his updates, recovering. Prayers always to you, Coach V. Good to see that you getting stronger and getting stronger.
Heck yeah. Coach V.
Stronger. Stronger makes me pain. But okay, let's move on. I think that closes up our permutations discussion. Let's talk about the teams that are likely to go though. It's nice to like go into what ifs. You know what I mean? Like, kung kunyari, mangyari na yung mangyayari. Iwan na natin yung next play. I think next play, it's easier for them to lock it in, and they have so many things to deal with, honestly. Line-up pa lang nila, iniisip na nila eh. Coach V tuloy, Coach Zico. Dude, I hope you have a solid plan this weekend, JM, ganda mo naman yung plano mo this weekend. Pick a lineup, alright? We'll leave them out of this, but what about what? Let's talk about the what ifs for Bren, Omega, and Blacklist. What if, simulan na natin yung M2 champions. What if Bren misses out on the playoffs? What if it's a repeat of season 8? Anong gagawin nung squad na to? This 10-man roster. What do you guys think?
For me, I think if they don't make the playoffs, I think it's technically okay because they brought in so many just new players into their roster. I mean, we saw it throughout the entire season, them kind of like trying different things out, different combinations, and at the same time, I don't know if they don't make the playoffs again, if that'll be a catalyst for some people to retire, right, on the roster. It could be, right? Who knows? But I feel like if they miss the playoffs this season, I'm sure we're going to see some minor changes in the roster. But at the same time, it's more so of like, I think they will go into the offseason or whatever is ahead of them with a better idea what works and what doesn't work. And then it gives them the time to refine what they learned here in Season 9.
Yeah, I think Naisu put it down perfectly. And what I'm going to be looking at is, I would be shocked, though, if Bren Esports, if they don't make it to the playoffs, and next thing you know, for Season 9, they have a complete... Season 10, they have a completely new roster all over again. Like, you brought in so many young guns here. However, what I would be scared for the most, or what I'll be looking for, is to see if Lusty or Few retire. Maybe Flap might consider taking a break. I think he's too young to retire. He still has a bright career ahead of him. So maybe, what if Flap takes a break? Or if Lusty and Few, if they retire, baka si Flap na yung magiging parang senior ng younger squad that comes in for Season 10. Whatever happens, I think it's gonna be it's a new era again for Bren. New era version 2 part 2 for Bren for the next season.
My hopes. My hopes is I hope they don't re-roster as heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly. Kasi, you know,
so much potential, man.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Something about what was a saying that goes like something takes time. Masterpiece? Art takes time. Basta, like, this is their first season, right? There's so many rookies. Sana may isa pa. Sana may one more chance because there's something there. Definitely there's something there. Diamond in the rough, call it that. Diba? SV Empire, Archangel, Sunsparks. These are very talented kids. Pero, that's Bren. Let's talk about their besties. I don't even know. Like, a majority of the people that they would call besties have taken a break or have left. Pero, Omega. What if Omega misses the playoffs? They're not even like given the chance to defend their MSC title. Diba? Hindi sila nakapasok sa playoffs. And this might be a first in a while na wala yung X/Omega sa playoffs ng isang MPL PH season. In history! Diba? So, what happens then?
I think for Omega, they might reshuffle their main 5 again for next season if they don't make it to the playoffs. I think we'll still see a lot of the same faces in the roster, but it might be similar to how Bren, like, Few leads one new roster, Lusty leads the other. For Omega next season, it might be 2 veterans, 3 rookies in the main 5, or 3 much younger players in the main 5. They still have some very young players there in Kelra. Kel VJ, age-wise is young, but in like career-wise, he's a senior, man. Like he's done a lot already. So I think it's gonna be somewhat like Bren season 9 in terms of the roster, but one more veteran in the mix. So might be a reshuffle, a bit for main 5.
Wait lang.
I'm just gonna agree.
Renzio, Eto Max Kelra,
Chap,
Jack.
and
Kill.
who am I missing? Renzio, Eto Max Kelra.
Shay Ryzen.
Renzio, Ryzen. How do you shuffle that?
See, exactly. That's why we might see more of a shuffling Omega, like 2 lineup Omega. Like if there's 2 lineup NXP or multiple lineup Onyx, multiple lineup NXP, might be multiple lineup Omega, sort of like a transition into a newer generation for the season after season 10. Like that might be the long-term game plan. Again, we're just assuming here, but
Medyo legit yung suggestion ni Coach V. Might need a better jungler or Ryzen needs to like completely unlock something new. Kasi what I hear about Ryzen is the opinion on Ryzen these days is he's a great team player. Kapag maganda yung galaw ni Omega, ang ganda ng ginagawa ni Ryzen. But the difference between Ryzen and KLVJ, I don't take credit for this. I don't take credit for this opinion. Somebody else said this, someone smarter than me. Naalala ko lang siya. KLVJ has the propensity to just pop off. KLVJ can just suddenly do things na parang nagawa ni Kiel yun. Pero yun nga, not as consistent anymore. You know? Pero si Ryzen, consistent eh. Pwede mo siya sabihan kung gagawin niya. Susunod naman. So maybe Ryzen needs a little something like that. Maybe Ryzen needs to learn how to unlock his creative side. Para you don't know always what he's up to. I don't know. Coach V, what do you think? That's Omega. And then last but not least, let's talk about the M3 champions, world champions. Sobrang hirap isipin. What if BLACKLIST misses the playoffs? Bro, you finished 2021 on top of the world. You started 2022 making it into the SEA Games national team, right? Or the Philippine national team. And then you're gonna miss the playoffs.
For me, man, if they miss the playoffs, I personally on a level of thinking about these young guys, right? I think it's gonna be like, because if they don't make the playoffs, we already know the type of stuff that's gonna be online, and kind of the fingers that are gonna be pointing at certain people. Yeah. I mean, I am hoping that regardless of whatever happens, I hope people can be more considerate of these individuals, not just with BLACKLIST, but just in the esports industry as a whole, because
our athletes.
Yeah, the athletes, right? I mean, this stuff that's said online obviously affects them. You can't run away from it as much as you want to, especially when this revolves around being online, right? Playing a game online. So I hope that if they miss the playoffs, they can take this whole experience as a learning experience, because still at the end of the day, I believe the saying, I don't lose, I learn. And I think that's something that they can do here. And there's been really good signs of them finding what we're used to seeing from BLACKLIST, but a different version of it. And I think it's just taken some more time to kind of refine that. But if they don't make it, it's going to be a big thing for a lot of people being like, not even just here in the Philippines, man. Like, they have a ton of fans worldwide. So it's like people are still going to be like, what's going on? Right. And I hope everyone is ready for that themselves, their management, and also just like I said, I hope the fan bases and the people around the world watching can think twice before they type.
Yeah, that is like excellently put, and that's what I was thinking too. Because for out of all the members in BLACKLIST, the ones I could say like I have the closest relationships with are and I feel like this might be the same for a lot of the casters who were there in MSC 2021, are Oheb and Edward. We got to really get to know Oheb and Edward very well during those times. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is, one, I'm going to message both of them. I also have this ritual of like congratulating. I don't know why, like it started in season 7. Like I have this ritual of congratulating Uncle S on like every time there's a really big achievement. So I'm gonna check in on him also. And to add to the great, fantastic point that Naisu put, I really hope this doesn't tarnish the legacy of the MV3, of Haji, of Oheb, and Edward. I hope people really get it out of their head that they aren't strong without VYs. Because if you think about it also, VYs couldn't have done what they did without MV3. And vice versa. MV3 couldn't have done what they did without VYs. And those meshed well incredibly together because they're all just very great players that put together just created a perfect storm of a very powerful world championship winning team. So I'm looking at Haji, Oheb, Edward. I hope it doesn't tarnish their legacy because they're legends in my eyes. Hope it doesn't tarnish like what Naisu put, the entire organization. And I hope that it doesn't sully what could be a bright young career for Kevier in the future. So there's that.
Yeah. I agree, man. I hope Kevier can someday become the Keviest. Yun na lang.
No.
Wag lang bumitaw. Wag lang bumitaw and just share the love. If you're an agent in the good times, be an agent in the bad times, bro. Just follow your team and support them. Show some love, alright? At your service, my name is Leo. Thank you for watching this recall segment. If you want to see more, click like and subscribe to Covenry.